there's no real definition of exactly what exactly this episode of First Edition is, First Reaction is, because pretty much, let's just get right into it, and I might as well be dressed appropriate for exactly what we are going to talk about. As the date as I am doing this video and putting it out for First Reaction, which will be spur moment, the Pirates are getting the living crap beat out of them by the Chicago White Sox, the worst team in baseball. Let's just get realistic. The Pirates are 39-60. Their whole entire season has already been pretty much steamrolled and already chewed up and already excreted, if you could say so. You know your season is going to go bad if you go to your very first series of the year, going to Miami, who is another trash fire of an organization, and you lose 3 of 4, and all 3 of those losses were walk-off. You lose one of your star players, Nick Gonzalez. He hits a home run and tweaks a hamstring, and he's out for 2 months. Jared Jones is out with Tommy John surgery, and you still think you got a pretty darn good, you've got a good, acceptable, probably one of the more positive pieces of your roster, and that's your pitching staff, and they're getting rocked, and Paul Skeens is doing his darndest to pitch the lights out, and the Pirates can't even hit. They're one of the worst hitting teams in the league, and then you turn around and they'll just put 10 on the board, and you are pissed off beyond belief. Why can't they do that anymore? Because they're not consistent. They never have been. They fired Shelton and brought in Don Kelly, and everybody likes Don Kelly, but he's a 500 manager right now. So, and I don't know if he has the full term or he's in term. I don't know off the top of my head, and it's not really a big deal. Let me just go over real quick of what really happened so far. They just went and swept the Mets and swept the Cardinals, who are actually playing a little better right now. So 6-game winning streak. Okay, things are starting to turn around. They can get to 500 maybe. No, they lose 8 straight. They lose, what is it? You get swept by the Mariners, didn't score a run. You get swept by the Kansas City Royals, who are also a low payroll, and you were competitive in 2 games, and you lost them both by 1 run, and you got destroyed in one of them. And then you got destroyed in the first 2 games against Minnesota. You win the last one on just before the All-Star break to have a little bit of hope. And here you are after the All-Star break. The White Sox, the worst trash fire in MLB, comes to your ballpark. It's probably one of the top 5 ballparks in America, and you have gotten basically steamrolled in both of them, 10-1 and 10-4. And what's really ironic, Friday night they wore the City Connects, got destroyed. Saturday night was Mac Miller bobblehead night. It was a 37,000 sellout. They were up 4-2 in that game, and they lost 10-4. And I guarantee you, a certain guy I like to call Bob Nutting does not care. He got 37,000 in that ballpark to sell Mac Miller bobbleheads. I just looked on eBay. There's a handful of Mac Miller bobbleheads already on eBay. He didn't care because he's getting money in his pocket just because of Mac Miller bobblehead night. He knows the team is not going anywhere, and he's probably the biggest con artist next to John Fisher, the guy who runs the A's. And fortunately enough, we just found out the Tampa Bay Rays are going to get bought and they're going to stay in Tampa. So the owner of that team, we don't care. Let's just be realistic. People, the entire heartfelt city of Pittsburgh, we all know, and I said this on a previous episode and a previous video on Jimmy Jam Sessions. Pittsburgh's going to go into a little bit of a downward spiral for maybe a couple years. The Pirates have been that way since 2015, and heck, they were like that for 20 years before 2013, when they had those 3 years of an actual wild card and a playoff run. They haven't been back since 2015. Remember that magical run, and it just, disintegrated. We don't know if that's ever going to happen unless Bob Nutting sells the team, and I personally think he's never going to, because number one, he's stubborn. Number two, he thinks he's smarter than everybody. And number three, he already has said even out in public, he said, I'm not signing the team because there's not anybody else more qualified to say what needs to be done and do the things that need to be done than me. Say what you want, insert your joke there. I'll get back to the Pirates in just a second, but the city is going down a little bit. The Penguins are going to be in a massive rebuild coming up, and it's probably going to start this year where they have a whole heck of a lot of youth and talent playing with Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. It's going to be Malkin's last year. Letang, he's getting in the best shape of his career, but he's going to be dropped to the third pair of the defensive pairing. And Crosby's going to be there, but there's all these talks about, if he's going to get one more chance to win a cup, he should just get traded to Colorado or play in Montreal, and where it was his favorite team growing up. And Montreal is actually not that bad. So they made the playoffs last year. So the Penguins, even though they're going to have a new third jersey coming out, which I'll do something later on, they're going to be a little bit down. And we've had 5 Stanley Cups. We're going to be fine. And the draft picks are there. Who knows? The Steelers, I've said on an occasional first reaction, they're tone deaf on offense. They just signed TJ Watt to a big extension. They say they're all in with the moves that they did. Now you have to play with Arthur Smith's offense, 3 tight ends. You don't know how good Jalen Warren will be, and the kid from Iowa. Is Aaron Rodgers going to throw deep a whole heck of a lot of times at 42 years old? DK Metcalf's going to be catching most of those balls. Do you trust Calvin Austin? Do you trust Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson? And you have 3 tight ends now. So I guess that's your offense. If you're saying you're all in, you've got pocket 8s, pocket 9s against ace, king, aces. I wish you the best of luck trying to outscore Baltimore and Cincinnati twice a year. As far as the Pirates is concerned, there's really no out. Somebody could come up out of nowhere and finally, we've seen people from Dan Marino, Mark Cuban, and then recently, like in the last year, Pat McAfee said, I can put a bunch of people together and we'll do it. Bob Nutting will look at you in the eye and laugh and walk away. He's not getting rid of this team. And we can sit there and put all the billboards all over the city. And if this weekend of, and just trying to remind myself, July 20th, if this weekend losing 2 of 3, and as I do this video, they're just, they start at 1:30 as I do this video. They've already lost 2 in this series. It's practically embarrassing. If Bob is sitting there with Ben Sherrington ready to hit the fire sale button, would not surprise me if he did. But it's an absolute disgrace. But they have so many people that they need to keep. But there's so many people that Bob will literally point the finger and tell Ben Sherrington, I need you to get rid of all these guys. We got to start all over again. When Derek Shelton was hired, it was a 5-year plan. And Derek Shelton is a good manager. He actually is. Took the Twins to the playoffs. And he's just, in the years he was there, he was just not a good decision maker. He really wasn't. He's a nice guy, good manager, but at the time with the Pirates, not a good decision maker. And, he's going to find another job elsewhere. It's obvious. But we've seen things, and I don't want to make the video too long, we've seen things that Mitch Keller will probably be dealt. The Yankees, this is not news. The Yankees already have their eyes on David Bednar, keep Ryan Hayes. Brian Reynolds has a no trade clause to anything. There's just all these other people that are looking to probably get dealt. Even the Dodgers threw a gigantic plan out to get Paul Skeens. The Dodgers were almost going to be like, just send a whole minor league team to Pittsburgh, including like phenom pitcher Roko Sasaki. But we know the Pirates aren't going to do everything immediately. There's a handful. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he'll probably be dealt. Pham will probably be dealt. Keep Ryan Hayes, we don't know. Spencer Horwitz probably will be dealt. Bednar will probably be gone, even though he's a Pittsburgh guy. Andrew McCutchen wanted to win a ring with Pittsburgh. That's never going to happen, unfortunately. And he left the team to the Giants, and actually was a Yankee at one point and did not do it. So I could sit here and just go off about what the Pirates need to do. I've did a couple videos already. but this needs to happen. Ben Sherrington will not have a job at the end of the year. In fact, to be quite honest with you, he should be fired next. The manager was one. The hitting coach was next. The GM needs to be gone now. But if that's the case, it's not going to necessarily matter, and I'll shut the bar down after I say this. If Ben Sherrington gets fired, which we all know is going to happen, Bob Nutting is just going to find another guy, and he's not going to hire him unless he does what Bob Nutting wants him to do. Which means if Bob Nutting wants the new GM to get rid of Paul Skeens for another fortnight battle bus full of prospects, that's exactly what's going to happen. Bob Nutting will ask every winter meeting, just for a salary cap. It's never going to happen. Would it be interesting if it did? Sure. But we know but baseball's going to go into a strike eventually in the next 2 years. But Bob Nutting can't even argue. Kansas City's a low payroll team, and they won a World Series with small ball and a bullpen. So small market teams can win. Right now, Pittsburgh is not in any way, shape, or form to do anything. They are now competing with the Colorado Rockies, the White Sox, the Marlins, being one of the worst teams in baseball. And trust me, Bob, this didn't have to be this way. And I think it's time for you to finally just listen to the people. Pack your stuff, sell your house, get out of town. The Pirates, this is all we want. I don't think we're worried about a Super Bowl or a Stanley Cup. If this happens, might be the happiest day in Pittsburgh besides winning a championship.